recording this game. So, I'm gonna tag people na naging into post ko. In a few minutes, we will start. Welcome. Welcome to this live stream by KLB. Wait for a few minutes. By the way, if you have any questions on this, you can literally ask questions. There's no tama or maling sagot. So, yung style na gagawin ko ngayon is unscripted. I just want to give my thoughts on this. As 3 days ago, doon ako sa Cebu, I encountered this post ng mga pastor friends ko sa Facebook. At first, yung understanding ko, nagkaroon na ako ng bias agad na judgment. But for this last 3 days, na pinag-isipan ko kung ano pwede bang gawin dito. Because we are having a wrong conversation when it comes to AI within the ministry. At the same time, sa kung paano ba gamitin ito sa ministry. There are a lot of applications na na-publish or available in the market na pwede natin. All of this parang kulang on my side. Kulang siya in a way na hindi talaga utilize yung AI when it comes to ministry. Merong nami-misuse yung AI at meron ding hindi aware na delikado din. It would be damaging for the people and also in our church and ministry na kapag hindi natin alam kung how are we going to use AI in a ministry, that would be so fatal and magkakaroon talaga ng issue yan within your ministry or in your church. So, I would like to attempt sa time na to divert our conversation when it comes to AI into how are we going to use AI within our ministry rather than if AI is bad, but if AI is evil or AI is being promoting laziness sa mga minister natin or sa mga pastors natin. Conversation, dapat yung ang ating starters. That AI is not good for us. AI is not in a way na pinopromote yung pagka-laziness ng isang tao or isang pastor, and then that is shutting the conversation. Kasi yung AI, hindi na yan mawawala sa lahat ng companies ngayon, yung mga biggest companies in US or in China, and also ang direction ng hardware natin when it comes to computing and the hardware, they are going to, in a way, roadmap na mag-accelerate yung application at the same time development ng AI. And for us, we will see for the past 3 years in our tech industry, ang dami talaga ang dami ng AI, content, balita, and then maraming mga technology na yung tumataas. So, it's so really noisy right now. Even in the past year, let's say 3 years, sobrang noisy ng AI sa mga feed natin, sa mga videos na nagagawa. So, a lot of things happen within this past 3 days na and ganun yung kukado, kumbaga sa atin. Dahil doon yung leading ng industry natin when it comes to our work and also in our daily life. Talagang paano gamitin yung AI as an integration. And a lot of companies din right now are even struggling gagamitin yung AI within their workforce. Okay? A lot of the company din na nagkakamali na pag-implement ng AI. Especially sa, let's say sa tech, tune kayo siguro sa mga feeding or sa social media. May mga balita na may mga companies like Amazon, Google, big industry yung FANG, nagle-lay off sila ng mga developers because ang kanilang sinasabi is dahil yon sa AI. Dahil yon sa capable na ang AI to produce yung work nila, kaya nagle-layoff sila. But it's a wrong reaction sa part nila on how AI should be used in their company. Kasi nga, lahat ng tao is nasa bahay lang. So, connectivity yung kuha nila sa internet. So that's the reason why grabe yung blooming nung yung time na yon about sa mga work or sa mga development stuff. So fast forward from that, naging normalized na yung ating industry. Nag-less na rin yung software during those times. So doon sa nangyayari. A lot of companies, yun lang yung ginawa nilang premise na kaya na daw gawin ng AI yung mga work ng mga tao, kaya mag-reduce, which is good, but it's not really what's happening talaga in reality. So cover up story lang madalas sa mga industries, sa mga technology, and ayun. So natanggal na natin yun. Natanggal na natin. So AI is coming in our life at hindi natin yan mapipigilan. And the right conversation for us to start is, how are we going to use AI in our ministry or in our church? Okay? How are we going, mag-a-adjust ba tayo? Or are we going to create something, a policy, bylaws, or whatnot on how are we going to use AI in our... Kailangan natin maintindihan kung anong gagamitin nating AI na mas effective sa ministry. Okay, going back from that, sa issue na nakita ko sa internet. So, tignan natin tong video na to and then let's see from there about this issue. So, I'm going to share it now. Okay. So, let's see.
Hello, pastors and preachers. So today I'm going to show you how to be lazy in crafting your sermon. So let's watch the video.
Mga main points natin. So, nag-conclusion na agad para mapag-aralan natin no, kung paano mag-flow yung conclusion. And after this, na rin ito ng full sermon. So, ayan, try nating gawan ng full sermon manuscript. Pata mo, yes lang sasabihin mo, hindi mo na kailangan merge them all or something. Hindi mo na kailangan i-type.
Okay, this is not true labor. Paul kay Timothy sa 2 Timothy 2:15, do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth. This is not doing your best to present yourself to God. This is being mediocre. This is being lazy. This is not labor. This is not working hard. This is when humans become the tool of AI. AI becomes the master, becomes the slave master. And humans becomes the slave of it. Worse. And kung hindi ito wisdom galing sa Diyos, it comes from something else, someone else. It's a wisdom from Satan. We should not promote it. We should expose this evil act. Napaka-precious and holy ng paggagawa ng sermon. Hindi ito basta-basta. It requires labor. Ganito na lang yung ginagawa nila ngayon. Hindi na nga sana nila dapat ginawa. Ipinagmamalaki pa nila. May this guy repent.
So I think dito sa video na to na nakita ko on this, I think he's not really wrong actually sa kanyang premise at sa kanyang sinasabi. Pagkakaintindi natin siguro is binaba natin yung AI, but I think that is a real normal na reaction sa mga tao about AI. And especially sa mga pastors na. Wag natin tanggalin na siguro iba yung iniisip nila or whatnot or very traditional sila. No, hindi. Kahit nga sa industry namin, may mga companies na skeptical about AI. How much more dito sa industry natin or dito sa church and then sa mga local church and then mga traditional way of thinking ng mga leaders na hindi talaga. Hindi natin makakuan sila masisisi kung ganyan yung mga reactions sila about this because it's a normal thing. Maging skeptical tayo dapat. Especially when it comes to this AI. Kasi parang nakikita ng iba, parang magic yung nangyayari. Pag magta-type ka, wala kang ginagawa, wala kang effort, sila na yung gagawa. And then, you can't expect for them na ganun yung magiging, na maintindihan nila agad, di ba? Una, kung ano yung AI. And gusto ko to sa reactions niya na nag-react siya about this because it's really happening. It will happen in the future, and if we're not careful about the conversation about this sa mga pastor, it's either they will hate AI or it's either makikita ng mga ibang mga ministry din o magkakaroon sila ng problema within sa scope ng friend nila siguro na sobrang close-minded sila mga gato, but hindi. It's a normal reactions for this to happen within our ministry or within our organization about this. Okay, that's number one. It's a normal reaction. I myself is pinag-isipan ko din or pinag-aralan ko din kung ano yung gamit niya, and hindi ko siya talaga ma-recommend as a tool for pastor to be used in their ministry, especially sa pag-create nila ng sermon. And mamaya, you will know why, okay? I will give you some evidence and also some studies. So, sino ba ako? Why am I using this platform or using this video or issue? So let me introduce myself. Why am I leaning on this conversation? Because mali yung topics na ating dinidiscuss. I want to attempt na hindi to divert the question but to have a conversation on how are we going to make AI work in our ministry. Kung ano yung pattern ngayon ng industries or ng mga companies, big tech company. For the 5 years to 10 years right now, they will double yung effort nila on creating artificial intelligence. A lot of models right now are very, very good on that certain thing. But how about in our context or in our ministry? How are we going to use that AI? Kasi hindi talaga mawawala yan sa ating daily life. Okay? So who am I? I am Carl Kenneth Alibuas. Pastor ako noon for 8 years, and now for the past 7 years, I've been a senior full stack developer. I'm creating a full stack implementation from front end into back end and also in the space of AI. So I have a lot of projects on AI and also applications on AI. Kasi yung AI sa industry namin is really heavy on its usage. So why it's heavy? Kami yung mga first talaga na involve at the same time sobrang lala yung paggamit namin ng AI. Sa inyo siguro nagko-question na kayo about AI, nagko-question na kayo ng mga grammar and whatnot, autocomplete, pero sa amin sobrang lala yung gamit namin ng AI, and have this capacity to speak about AI and also the ministry because I've been in the two world na meron akong experience on ministry and also in corporate world and also development and technology. So one of my advocate talaga when I want to help churches is magkaroon sila ng foundation about AI and also on their technology, and how are they going to AI na magkaroon sila ng effectiveness at the same time makakatulong sa kanilang AI instead of maging harmful sa kanila. Okay? Kanina sa mga videos ni Pastor or sinundan ko yung feed niya. May binigay siya ng video about doon sa batang pastor na nagsisermon siya, tapos binasa niya, pati yung suggestion ni AI binasa niya rin. So, naging faulty yun, di ba? So, may mga ganong instances talaga tayo na kapag hindi natin alam kung paano maging fluent sa ministry ang paggamit ng AI, then it would be harmful like what we saw. And also, sa ngayon, yung conversation natin sa nangyayari sa naggumawa ng app ng, hindi naman siya application, gumawa lang siya ng GPTs sa chat GPT. In a way, it doesn't really involve that much effort on that one because it's already been there. Gagamitin mo lang, i-configure mo lang ng ChatGPT. But later on, we will tackle that one about the technology, about AI and stuff like that. So that's my attempt for us now to give meaning and to give a proper discussion for us moving forward on AI. So the proper conversation that we should be having is paano natin gagamitin yung AI sa ministry natin at maging effective siya. Okay, now given na yun yung magiging conversation natin, because I've been following din yung mga comments ng natin. And ayun, I don't want na nagdi-defend ako, pero proper lang talaga na ganon yung maging response ng pastor natin, maging skeptical sila about AI, and we love them for that. Because alam mo, they are so concerned about the holiness and about the work of being sa pastor. Hindi madali yung pagpapastor. Hindi lang natatapos sa paggawa ng sermon, kundi they have this so many responsible pa beyond sa sermon creation. Okay? So they are correct to reacting that way. Okay? And now for us, on this, sa conversation natin, it's a normal thing. And sa mga comment natin, hindi talaga siya mali. Hinahinay lang tayo. Okay, pastors natin, mahal natin ang mga nagpipreach. They are called the man of God. Wag agad-agad. Okay? We want to illumine kung may mga tanong. Okay, let's go to the second part nito about about their conversation, kasi nagkaroon sila ng debate, and then kung ano ba yung sinabi, siguro nag-defend lang yung gumawa, and then si pastor nag-defended sa side niya, and pinanood ko siya kagabi, and it was really a wrong conversation actually. For me, I didn't really see na natakil natin kung totoong problema sa it's much more on defending the side of pastors and defending side of the creator ng Pastor's Notebook. Kaya parang sa akin naguluhan kasi it's not really about kung anong point nilang dalawa, kundi yung the right topics na dapat i-discuss niya. And then may nakita ko dun sa mga comments sa parang it's off na for me to really comment on that. Mga about sinasabing evil, sinasabing mga ganon, evil or mga commentaries ba, evil and whatnot. It's really kaya nakakuha na ko na nanghihinayang ako sa conversation, mga comments na hinayang ako dun sa opportunity na yon to really discuss about AI. Nakita rin sa mga comment na much more naging attack na to that person on his pananaw, because hindi dapat ganun. So let's be aware na it's a normal thing. It's a normal to be skeptic, especially AI and stuff. Okay, now going through doon sa application, punta na natin, because I don't want to deal with any theology and sa theology about kung ang AI ba okay, yung evil, ano man, because those guys are good on this. But I want to provide a very logical and also practical way of point of view on this topic, na much more na hindi maging damaging sa ating mga manonood, maging negative yung impact, but mas lalo na nang maintindihan. I want to stir up ng questions sila by the end of this video. Ang goal ko is mag-isip sila kung paano ba natin gagamitin ang AI for ministry, at the same time, paano ba natin gagamitin yung paano natin gagamitin yung AI sa ministry, at the same time, ano-ano pa ang mga bagay na hindi natin nagagawa na pwede tayong tulungan ng AI. Diba? If you reframe that questions, yun yung magiging goal ko. Hindi tools na gusto kong i-share sa inyo, but kayo mismo yung mag-isip within your ministry or within your organization sa mga tanong na yan. Paano magiging effective yung AI sa ministry ko, at ano-anong mga bagay na kung saan pwede. Okay. Now, sa tech side, yung sa Pastor's Notebook, kung i-rate ko siya, for me, it's 1 out of 10. Bakit? Because ito kasi yung take ko dyan. Kung sino yung nag-handle ng algorithm or kung sino yung nag-handle ng AI, ang result, output niyan is nakadepende doon. Okay? I repeat kung sino yung nag-handle ng model, ng algorithm, ng company na yan, siya yung magdi-determine kung anong output ng AI. Okay? Why is it 1 out of 10? It's because na ChatGPT siya. Yun yung problem ko. Nasa ChatGPT siya. And nagkaroon kasi ako ng testing on this and it's really not that good result. Ang rate ng aking testing at ng benchmark ko is na-flag niya na ang AI is unreliable when it comes to scriptures. Bakit 1 out of 10? Kasi ito ito yung parang na kita ko. Yung paggamit ng tools, meron siyang, di ba, expository, mag-output siya, tatanungin ka niya, may mga follow-up questions, may mga suggestions kung paano i-explore lalo yung application, yung conversation niyo with AI, and then mag-output siya based on that conversation. Ang problema ko, who guide the conversation? Who is guiding the conversation? If you're going to type about, ito yung verse ko, ito yung mangyayari, ito yung gagawin kong, ito yung kung ano-ano pa, yung mga gagawin mo, mga verses, mga whatnot. And then, i-generate niya ngayon yung mga text, yung mga outline, outposts. Tapos, ilalagyan niya, magsasabi siya na, do you want me to explore this? Or do you want me to revise it? Like, suggestive. Then, ang problema ko dyan is hindi na ikaw yung may control ng conversation. That would be AI. Kasi sasabihin mo na lang, mag-yes ka na lang ng mag-yes sa kanyang i-generate. So, ganun yung problema. Who is leading the conversation when you are using the AI? Okay? Kanina sinabi ko, in-explain ko na whoever controls ang algorithm or ng AI will always be in control of the output. And now, given the idea, okay? So nagkaroon ako ng testing on this and every model na tinest ko, I think this is past 2 months ago, lahat ng AI model is unreliable. Now, let that sink in. Lahat ng AI model is unreliable sa benchmark. What I did is I have a set of questions ilang sa denomination namin, which is Assemblies of God. Hindi, I also created 3 questions about Jesus, about God, and about the Bible. Then it's really unreliable. So ito, yung mga key insight. Best question that we ask is, what is the gospel? They know the gospel, what is the gospel. Pero ang problema, it is a faith distancing. Second, worst question, what happens after you die? 4.4. Wala sila talagang concept. Okay? Model natin for the time of my testing is ChatGPT 5.2 Pro. So scored 4, and then Gemini 3.1 Pro, and then Opus 4.6. Worst model. Kahit sa aming industry, yung pinaka-best is Claude Opus. Pero when it comes to the theology, it's worst model. And all models is faith distancing. So ano-ano ba yung mga questions na ginawa ko? Paano ko ba siya tinest ko? I have per questions. I have questions dito. What is the Bible? Is the Bible reliable? Who is God? Who is Jesus? Why are humans sinful? And how can I be saved? What is baptism and communion for? So a lot of this is within the Assemblies of God statement of faith. But also, as you can see here, I have kung sino ba si Jesus, ano ba yung Bible, and whatnot. Yung mga basic stuff, mga Nazarene Sacred Creed. Okay? Dito rin. So, yan yung analysis ko. Ang pinaka-best na answer nila is, what is the gospel? Yun lang. Alam nila kung anong gospel, but it's not that good kasi ang sasabihin lang nila, faith distancing siya. Sasabihin nila, based on the record, based on the Christian group, ito yung gospel for them. Think about this one. If your member or if a pastor will ask yung AI, how can I be saved? Then ito yung magiging result. Then, mag-fail. Magiging delete. And then, the argument here, nating i-guide yung prompt nila. Okay? The way I tested this, lang external prompt, walang mga denominational na extra prompt on this. Tinanong ko lang siya as pure as a sentence, is the Bible reliable? Okay? And is unbeliever, yung magtatanong at gagamit ng AI, na unfiltered, walang extra prompt na para mag-improve yung kanyang output, then issue siya. Sorry. Yan yung problema ng AI. Hindi niya alam yung theology. Hindi niya alam yung faith. Okay, so if you let the AI run or lead your conversation, that's fatal. And the argument na pwedeng sabihin is you can improve the prompt, diba? You can improve the context. You can feed the lexicon, you can feed Hebrews, you can feed Bible verse para maging accurate siya, and same thing, but kulang pa rin. Let me explain why kulang pa rin. Kapag mag-context engineering ka, kahit anong gawin mo na connections of every resource, magiging mali pa rin at kulang yung output ng AI. Because he's the one who is leading the conversation. Kahit anong klaseng gawin mo pa sa pagpa-prompt at pag-feed sa kanila ng context, Bible verse, Hebrews, and Greek, and whatnot, ito yung problema kasi sa AI. They have this constitutional alignment. Okay. Gemini also have this, OpenAI have this, and a lot of companies, they are using this logic, constitutional alignment. So kumbaga, may determining factor output ng AI. As you can see here, ito yung alignment. Sa Claude, may mga ang magiging helpful model, generate if a flag niya ba harmful ba to or hindi. Response ba to, critic ba to, revision niya, and then if fine-tune yung model, and then i-generate yung response. Okay? Titignan niya if mali ito, i-mold niya ngayon yung interpretation or yung pag-generate ng content into his own thing. Okay? Into his own concept. Hindi yan nag-iisip on his own. Meron yung mga barriers, meron yung logic na ina-align yung message. Kung intention mo na God is the one true God or Jesus is God, kanila, pwede nilang i-flag yan na hindi yan totoo, hindi yan truth. Okay? Ang sasabihin lang nila na Jesus is a historical figure with in the faith of Christians. Yun magiging output. But for us, ang belief natin that Jesus is God. But on our AI, dahil may alignment sila, we know na may historical truth or may historical evidence that Jesus is alive and He is God. And pagpunta sa AI, ang output is mali, faith distancing. Bakit? Kasi dahil sa constitutional alignment ng mga AI. Yun yung problema. When you are using AI to lead the conversation, then that will happen. Okay? Magmi-misalign, magiging output at yung belief system. And magiging fatal yan, hindi lang kay pastor, kundi sa kanyang buong congregation. If you're using it, wala kang prior skills or prior knowledge about how to use AI effectively in your ministry. Okay? Because it's not enough to just use yung AI, mag-generate ka lang ng points. Walang context. Mas madalian. Yun yung nagiging ba? So, ang hirap. It means ba na hindi na natin gagamitin yung AI sa ministry? Hindi naman. Because kailangan nating malaman na may mga ganitong bagay yung nangyayari ngayon. You need to understand the technology kasi. Maging responsible. If you're a pastor using AI, you need to learn kung ano yung AI model na yan. You need to dig through if yung AI ba yan is pwede sa akin or hindi. So dito na tayo sa constitutional alignment. And dito nga sa Gemini, ang pinaka-worst sa Gemini is talagang may pinublish sila noon na yung mga biblical fact at yung parang faith confirmed content, they will block it. They will really block it. So rest assured na if you're using AI, it will really not going to be on your side or in our side, lalo sa faith. Because sabi ko kanina, whoever hold the algorithm or AI sa company will also dictate or you will also influence yung output niya. And if, like this, so nakikita natin, AI alignment ng each of the companies, so yung output nila is that. So, would you take this and i-present mo sa congregation, shape ng AI or na-shape ng company yung paniniwala mo, na-shape ng company yung output ng iyong generate sa AI. Fatal siya. So, what can we do? How are we going to solve this problem? Yun nga, yung conversation natin dapat. It's not about is AI is good or AI is bad, and how are we going to use AI more effectively sa ministry na. You need to understand yung models, you need to understand yung AI in order for you to come up with your unique solution or your unique approach on using AI in your ministry. So, paano ba ang gagawin natin para makatulong yung AI sa ministry na? Ang una kong solutions dyan is we need to be able to know how AI works and how are we going to use it sa ministry na. That's why I created a book called AI Fluency for Ministry. It teaches about framework on how are you going to be fluent in using AI in your ministry. Framework siya, which is calling, it's on the book. Principle siya na nakuha ko sa tech industries. Okay? And then, kinonsolidate ko lang siya into a way na maging ministry aware siya, na mas madali ma-absorb ating mga congregation. If you go to AI Fluency Ministry, then you could get the book for free. For free, hindi ko yung binibenta. Let me share it. Ang hirap maging yung ngayon. Natin. So, I created this book called AI Fluency for Ministry. So this is the first systematic benchmark on how AI handles your theology and the framework every pastor need before Sunday. So dito rin nilagay ko yung benchmark, dito rin yung 4C, yung calling, communication, correction, and character. Dito, it will teach you how you're going to use AI in your ministry, given na meron tayong problema between the spiritual alignment and so on and so forth. Okay? This, kung i-discuss natin to, would take us 4 hours to discuss, but I don't want to discuss this. Just check on this book. Go to aifluencyministry.com and then download your book and then read it. Okay? Just read it. Paano ba natin gagamitin yung AI? Ang una-una nating titignan, nag-iisip ako, before ako nagawa na, ang una natin titignan is anong ways ba ginagamit yung AI? Anong ways ba ginagamit ang AI? Yung una is for automation. So automation is yun nga, nag-automate. Kanina nakita ko yung pastor notebook, more on automation siya kasi ino-automate na lahat. Sa industry namin, it's good if the task is repetitive, but when it comes to creating sermon, gusto ba natin makita ng pastor natin ino-automate yung sermon niya? I don't think na okay magiging conversation natin with our congregation if we see na about automation. It's cringy kapag iniisip ko pa lang na yung pastors natin gumagawa na is agentic. So sa agentic na to, ito yung things na ginagawa ng AI na nagiging madali na yung work mo. Because binibigyan mo na lang sila ng instruction and task, and then may set of instructions din sila within their own, and doon din silang mga valuable resources on their own and skill set, then automatic na lang nilang gagawin yon. Okay? So now, itong problema. If you use agentic sa pag-create ng sermon, magiging delikado nyo. Kasi ito talaga, wala ka nang gagawin. They will do everything from scriptures, study, concordance, whatnot, and then i-output na lang nila sa'yo yan nang tapos na. You have a full monoscript ng buong sermon mo. So may script ka na. So that is not really how we should work with AI. What I am implying yung word na augmentation. This is the sweet spot. Yan yung sweet spot. So, automations, we have automations, agentic, and augmentation. So, augmentation is yung sweet spot na kung saan natin pwedeng gamit yung AI. So, ano bang augmentation? Augmentation is adding something to your workflow na maging effective, at the same time, adding something or making it bigger. Kung gusto ko magpatangos ng ilong, i-augment ko siya para maging matangos, then that augmentation. And that's how siguro yung AI, kung paano tayo makipagkausap o paano tayo magamit ng AI, it should be augmentation. It's not automation, it's not agentic. Kasi delikado siya. Kasi sa automation, the AI will control your conversation. At the same time, kapag agentic will control your work na ikaw yung nagtatrabaho. But augmentation, this is a sweet spot because may collaboration between AI and you. Ikaw yung nag-lead ng conversation, hindi yung AI. Now, sinabi ko kanina na dapat collaborative. Sinabi ko rin kanina na ang AI, ikaw nag-lead ng conversation at hindi yung AI. So, augmentation should be ikaw yung this term sa amin na ang tinatawag na domain expertise. Okay? Let's put it there. Domain expertise. Domain expertise. So ano ba itong domain expertise? Ito yung accumulative experience mo sa trabaho mo at nagkakaroon ka ng domain expertise. Kahit na mag-gut check ka lang, alam mo kung tama o mali yung. If you're a manager, at yung mga juniors mo, okay, may task ka pinagawa and then isang glimpse mo lang mali ang ginagawa mo. Then you have that domain expertise. Lalo sa amin, we have a domain expertise. Balik tayo sa punto. So, augmentation. Paano magiging effective yung AI sa paggamit mo? Nakarely kasi yan sa domain expertise. Kaya sa amin, sa industry namin, sa mga developer, ako is senior full stack engineer. I know back-end, I know front-end, I know infrastructures, I know web security and whatnot. Yun yung domain expertise ko. Then if I use AI and may output siya, just a gist of it, alam ko na kung ano yung, alam ko rin kung paano instruct si AI kung ano magiging effective at ano magiging outlook ng kanyang ginagawa. Outlook. Mayroon akong plan sa utak ko na itong gagawin mo AI. Magbibuild ka ng, let's say, magbibuild ka muna ng schema. Hindi mo muna itong mga requirements. Ito yung mga point 1, point 2, point 3 na gagawin mo. Ang gagawin ng user. At the same time, dapat ito yung pagkagawa mo ng back-end. Siyang maplan. So, kapag nakaplan na, and then titignan mo, i-coca mo na siya, i-review mo. And then if you're, kung papayag ka ba sa gagawin niya or hindi. So kung may nakita kang mali, sabihin mo ay mali ito. Ito dapat siya, point 1, ginawa mo siyang ganon. So may kayong conversation. Okay? Dahil may domain expertise, nag-guide ko yung AI, nag-guide ko rin yung mga output niya sa implementation na gusto ko. Sa knowledge na meron ako. Kumbaga, meron na akong tinatawag na vision sa magiging outlook ng product. Okay? Dahil domain expertise ako, I can see that. Okay? Pero, kapag unknown pa sa'yo ang final output na mangyayari, na hindi mo alam yung procedure, hindi mo alam yung 1, 2, 3, 4 step to go to that finish line, hindi rin alam ni AI kung anong gagawin mo. Yan yung problema. If you're using AI na wala kang domain expertise, then delikado. That's why nga sa AI meron ng mga skills. Ang skills is like a domain expertise din na mag-guide sa'yo kung may mga skills ka na need ni AI na maalaman niya, maturo niya, context niya, magiging conscious. Magiging maganda. Yeah, ganyan. Paano mo magagamit yung AI to be much more positive yung output niya? It will always depend on your domain expertise. And kapag augmented yung gagawin natin, magre-rely siya dyan. So kaya nga, let's say Bible school student ka, and then gumagamit ka ng AI. And then kapag gagamitin mo ng AI to, let's say, research, pero hindi mo pa alam pala kung ano yung magiging concept mo, kasi you have this knowledge gap pa talaga, hindi mo pinagdaanan, wala kang experience dito, then hindi makakatulong sa yung AI. I tell you, it will fail you. Okay? Pwede mo naman gawin. Ang magiging shortcut mo is automation or agentic. Kasi magkukang ka lang, may mga agentic skills ka na ilalagay sa AI mo. And then, ikaw, researcher ka. Ikaw, let's say, validator ka. Ikaw, citation expert. Mga ganyan. Pwede mo ilagay yan. And then, ilagay mo yung topics mo and whatnot. And then, tatapusin niya yan. Okay? Agentic na AI. Then, hindi nagiging effective yung sermon mo. Kasi, yung AI na nagkocontrol, hindi na ikaw. Yun yung mali. Okay? Don't let AI control the conversation. You should always be in charge. And the only way to do this is sa augmentation. And the only way na maging effective din yung augmentation mo is your domain expertise. That's why, ang mga senior pastors natin na mayroon ng 20 years at 30 years experience, I am happy for them na gumagamit sila ng AI to create their sermon. Bakit? Because they have a domain expertise. Hindi yan sila magkakamali sa kanilang mag-output ng AI. Kasi pagbabasahin nila yan, alam din nila pag mag-response. Itong rule of thumb when you're using AI. Don't use the first output ng AI. Okay? Don't use it. Have a conversation with it. Go through mo talaga. Paulit-ulitin mo kapag may mga hindi ka naintindihan sa kanya, ulit-ulitin mo until you are happy with it. But don't use the first output ng AI sa work mo or sa gagawin mo. Kasi magiging delikado siya. Okay? Have a conversation, collaborative, dig deeper sa kanya in order for you to be, ang output niya to be better. Okay? So domain expertise. Ayun. Yan lang I think. Yung paano ba natin gagamitin yung AI sa ministry? Do augmentation. Do have domain expertise. Okay. Now, saan pa tayo mapupunta sa discussion natin na to? Siguro ang issue ng ethical. Kasi sa video kanina, it's unethical to do so. Yes, it's unethical to do so. Gamit ka ng sermon, gamit ka ng AI, pero hindi mo i-disclose yan sa mga congregation or habang nagpipreach ka. Okay? It's not really stewardship. Bawal yan. You need to disclose. Ano ba yung kailangan mo i-disclose? Kailangan mo i-disclose kung ang AI mo, gumamit ka ng AI for your presentation. Okay? Gumamit ka ng AI for your outline. Kung malaman nila yan sa outline mo, okay lang siguro sa presentation mo, pero kapag yung nag-control ng conversation is yung AI, mahirap yun. So, how to solve yung unethical, you need to have a policy. A policy on your church, in your ministry, on how are you going to use AI for your church. Ano mo yung do's and don't na paggawa mo. And then, i-publish mo yan sa church mo. Ito, gumagamit kami ng AI in our ministry. Ito yung ginagamit namin, pero ito yung mga hindi namin ginagamit. Para may idea na. And then, in the future, kapag may gagawin kayo, you will always resort to that policy para mag-guide yung mga leaders ninyo on how are you going to use AI in your ministry. Ano ba to? Ito lang simple lang kasing policy nito. So, i-state mo lang dyan, ano yung mga bagay na ginagamitan ninyo ng AI at ano yung mga bagay na hindi ninyo gagamitan ng AI. That's the policy. And then, ikuha mo lang. So, kung sa policy mo, we are using AI for the generate outline. So, kung okay sa'yo yan, then okay. Pero for me, it's not really that good. Okay? So, policy pa na isa is that we are using AI for research only. Pwede yan. Or using AI to create slides, materials, marketing materials, copies, and whatnot, then okay yon. Okay? Basta magkaroon ka lang ng policy na alam ng mga church mo na gumagamit tayo ng AI, pero dito mga bagay na hindi naman ginagamit ng AI. May mga bagay pa na let's say mga data sensitive, hindi namin nilalagay yung mga real names kapag magge-generate kami ng mga AI. So may mga policy pa dapat kayong ganyan. Kasi we have this policy sa church namin na ito yung policy namin. Una, we are just using AI for presentation, for marketing materials and not, pero hindi namin ginagamit to sa pag-generate ng sermon. That's a policy. Nagkaroon ka ng trust. The same, lahat kayo may policy. And then in the future, kung yung leaders namin gagamit ng AI, ito yung policy namin. Okay? We don't put real names sa generation na yan. Hindi namin nilalagay. Nire-redact namin yung mga information on how are things like that na nangyayari. Then magiging secure yung mga leaders mo at the same time, yung mga congregation mo at yung mga tao na pupunta sa church mo. A policy in place sa paggamit. Okay, may tanong tayo. Sorry, ngayon ko lang nakita. So, kuya, kailangan ng prior knowledge as form of objective validator kung tama ba yung sinasabi ng AI. But does not justify kung full reliable ba ang isang pastor. No, yeah. So, yes, kailangan talaga. At yun yung kung may domain expertise sila yung nagva-validate. Sila nagva-validate kung tama ba yung output. And then kapag hindi, i-generate nila, tanong lang sila or i-correct na ng AI to guide them in a way. Ngayon, tayo doon papasok sa responsibility. Yes, full responsibility ng pastor yung magiging output ng AI. Ikaw, you're just, yun nga, gumagamit ka ng AI as your tools, and then kung ano yung magagawa mo, sa'yo yan. It's not, hindi mo pwedeng sisihin ang AI, hindi mo pwedeng sisihin ang kahit sino man yung gumawa niyan. It's only on your responsible. It's your responsibility being a pastor to really check yung output ng AI and to really to have a domain expertise. Okay? Ang responsibility niyan is yung pastor na nag-generate at nag-gumamit. There's a story sa internet na isang attorney, nag-generate siya ng case or study man nila about dun sa current nila na kaso. And then nakita ng judge na yung na generate anything sa congregation natin magiging fatal sa kanila sa future. I think yan. Accountability. But does not justify yung full reliability ng isang pastor sa pagiging. Well, yun nga yung pattern natin. Hindi lang knowledge, kundi domain expertise. Kasi sabi tayo ng domain expertise, it's more than knowledge. It's more than it's experience and also gut check. They can gut check yung output ng AI kung tama or mali. Kasi alam ko, ang pastors, kapag they have this domain expertise, na sila nagkakamali sa kanilang theology. And then they can spot kapag yung output ba ng AI na to is salungat sa theology nila. So I think, using AI, you should be responsible. And what is the output ng AI na iyong inaccept at ikaw kasi dapat ang may control ng conversation, hindi yung AI. Kasi, kung ikaw may control, then it's yours. Kasi AI is just a tools. Kung ano may mangyari at kung ano ma-create ng AI with you, then it's yours. It's your responsibility. Magiging result yan ng ginawa mo with AI. So I think that's the answer. Doon sa reliability, accountability ng user o ng pastor na gagamit ng AI. Policy. Yan sa policy. Then yun, good din yun. Para magkaroon ng pastors siguro accountability and transparency sa churches. Create your policy, okay? Kung gagamit ka ng AI, and let your congregation know na gumagamit ka ng AI. Into what extent you're using AI. I'm just attempting to redirect our conversation about AI into really thinking about how are we going to use AI implemented in our ministry, not to demonize it, not to stir up conversation, not to explode it, or not to fan the flame kung ano mang issue na nabasa ko. But it's just for us to really know how to implement it and maging successful in AI in our ministry. So based on my research and based on my understanding and also based on the things that I have done doing for the last 7 years of my life in software, and then the last 8 years of my life being a pastor, then I think I have the capacity to really tell something about this, to give a shed of light. And I hope na I'm more than happy to help you on that area. Thank you so much for having me listening and viewing my page. Thank you so much. Thank you, nerds. Bye-bye.